Thanks everybody, and I'm back on the stage as you can see. So today we're discussing logistics. So we're gonna have a presentation of what are your services and your companies, and then we're gonna try to dig a little deeper on what's the impact, importance of logistic in the e-commerce world and how you tackle it. So I will start with a little round table by introducing who you are, and can you present yourself and your services?
Hello, and Edouard Marguin, I'm the CDO of Lavinia. Lavinia is a wine shop and distributor across Europe, mainly through 3 flagships that we have in Paris, Madrid, and Geneva.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for sharing today. I'm Pinky. I work for Fashion Cube. Fashion Cube, to be honest, doesn't exist. It's a new ecosystem for brands, for textile brand, where we try to invent the new best-in-class industry in textile for our brands. And it's a group from the Muliers, and we have 8 brands right now, like Pinky, like my first name almost, and Jules, and so on and so on. So the target to this is to fight against the pure players first, and the second is to hit a second target coming from 2 billion euros of turnover to 3 billion in 3 or 4 years.
Hello, I'm Charles-Antoine Gondran. I'm on the board of Nectria. Nectria is a Spanish and a company, a software company, addressing challenges of the last mile delivery. So we're basically addressing the problems that relate from people having desire for more speed, more accuracy, more convenience, and who don't want to pay for that. So that's a big challenge, and therefore we're specifically focusing on it.
Hi everyone, I'm Moemi, the CEO of Colliweb, and we work on the last mile delivery to provide same-day delivery for merchant and the e-merchant. In France, we are a startup, a French startup, and we are connected with more than 700 professional carriers connected in real time to provide this service.
Okay. So we have 2 companies that are actually selling a product or using the web to sell a product, and on the other end we have 2 companies that are providing service and implementing the world of logistics. So I have a set of questions. Some of them are for everybody, some of them are more specific according to the industry, since I think there are 2 kind of ways to tackle the question. So I will start with the Lavinia and Fashion Cube. And I have a question. Fashion and wine have been for a long time present in the online market. So fashion and wine usually are very well developed e-commerce industries. There are already some relevant and very advanced players all over the world, and in Europe as well, and in Italy as well, as far as I know. So are you distinguishing yourself in terms of distribution and logistic and service to the consumers to tackle the competition in a very competitive environment?
Okay, well actually wine is not that much developed online across the world. That's about 5% of the 200 billion euros worth of this market. Much more mature in France, which is a pretty much 15 billion euros market, 10% of it being done online approximately. But this turnover has been multiplied by 10 in the last years, so it's really increasing a lot in France. Lavinia is actually holding 3 flagships, which are really museum of wines, if I can say so, in Paris, Madrid, and Geneva. And so our e-commerce should rapidly become bigger than the turnover we are doing in our shops. And there is a specificity at Lavinia, which is that we hold about 70,000 bottles in each shop. And so when you hold such a stock, you have to address the possibility, you have to send your bottles with a really premium service to your customers, especially within cities, big cities where we are present. We do have also a lot of problems coming from the particularity of the wines, which is that it needs to be carried with temperature control. Absolutely. And it's heavy. It costs a lot to send bottles. So we are trying to work on this type of issues at Lavinia.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll get to the specificity of the product in the next question. How about you?
For fashion, you're right. Online market for textile, it's quite good. The share of business of this online business in France is around 8%, but it depends. In the UK, it's 16%. But in the same way, it's not the part of the retailers that have a successful business online, it's not there. So we can say that pure players for textile is more successful today. So coming from the textile brand here with very good assets in terms of real estate, we have 2,500 stores. So the main competition, it's all about the digital and the unified commerce. So the digital journey of the customer journey. So that's our main assets today, because if we take the innovation and to compete with the main guys, tomorrow it's more Alibaba and already Amazon today.
Absolutely.
It's a mess for a retailer, and retailers are quite good and have a successful business for 40 years, only with stores, with the traffic generation with stores in malls mainly, and now they have to change. So the purpose of Fashion Cube and what we try to do is to reinvent a new top-class model in industry. So customer journey will be the final touch that we want to do, and the customer doesn't care about having to buy online or to buy in store. So it should be the same. What we want to do is to change everything and to increase the frequency of the purchases. And we can do that if we take the whole lifetime value, not only in one brand. Let's say that we have Tapala, it's for children, and then we can leverage on that to push him to another brand, and so on and so on. So that's what we want to do.
Okay, so yeah, I agree that there's a lot of room for improvement on all these fields. I think it's a very interesting point, the connection between physical stores and online channels. And more, I mean, I've been observing China for a while. We have the situation where the physical store becomes a museum or a showcase in order to have people buy things online. So I think it's a very important trend. So, speaking of still the connection between the physical world and online, a question for you guys. In China, there are over 150 million packages shipped every day. So it's a huge market, and e-commerce is becoming more and more about shipping each single item person to person or company to person. So it's a market that is keeping on growing all over the world, and we are talking about billions of packages now a day. So it's very, very interesting. What are today, in your opinion, from your perspective, the biggest problems that customers are facing when dealing with whatever kind of e-commerce? What are the problems they face? What are the problems they're vocal about? And how your services are trying to address those problems?
So, well, first of all, I fully agree about the China opportunity or threat, depending on how you look at it. It's amazing. I mean, what Alibaba is doing in China is really very impressive. It's about 750 million connected people. And more importantly, what happens in China is that people there don't have the same legacy as we do. You know, their parents didn't bring them in malls or in shops and have a full consumer experience. These things didn't happen in the 90s. So they're coming brand new, brand fresh for the online experience. So that is explaining why China is now definitely the largest e-commerce market in the world. Now coming to the biggest challenges of customers face, what we do is really about last mile delivery. So we see customers go online and at the end of their shopping experience, they're proposed a time grid and they want to be delivered with time slots. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants to be delivered at the same time. That's in the morning, that's in the evening, when you're at home, and that's not very often. As a result of that, retailers are missing sales. And because of that, logistics departments and transporters are living a nightmare. So what we bring in is a solution that is around dynamic pricing of delivery time slots. Just like the airline industry, just like the hotel industry, prices fluctuates based on demand. So we're applying that methodology to those delivery time slots. And as a result of that, we're flattening demand. That means we're moving customers from one very highly demanded slot to a less demanded slot for a small discount, and we're improving the efficiencies of the logistic fleet. So that is, I think, a big problem with a solution, and the benefits are quite significant when it comes to cost savings and also to customer conversion rate.
Great. Yeah, we had a speech before. They were mentioning about people that want stuff delivered from 10 to midnight, so the timing is very important. So you basically work with companies that have a fleet and you help them organize the fleets, right?
Well, we propose our service directly to the retailers. So they put on their platform that algorithm that works in real time and that will identify where I am, where are the people around me, and based on that, we'll fix a price in real time for that delivery.
Great. How about you, Remy?
Yeah, I share your purpose totally. And for Coliweb and for to realize this promise is the most important is how we can manage the best the last miles with carriers, and that we choose with Coliweb is to drive by technology and to have also algorithm that taken a predictive slot time to sorry if I switch in French sometimes, but
No worries.
considérer la demande client des meilleurs créneaux choisis. So we have a solution to choose the best carrier, and we can manage the best transporters that can succeed the promise with tracking and succeed on the delivery on time, because that's the best challenge is to succeed to realize the delivery on time and not the fast delivery.
Absolutely, especially now that people are expecting 10 or 20 packages a day whenever they buy on Amazon or anywhere else. So, okay, I will go back to Lavinia and Fashion Cube. And, I mean, we are a pretty international audience today. So, are you guys working with international company, either on the client side and on the company side or the brands that you're working with? So it's more like a local store, or you sell international wines, or you have an international audience? And the same question to Fashion Cube.
Okay, well, actually we import and distribute a lot of international wines. About, I'd say more than 100 wineries from about 30 countries, I'd say. So we import a lot. We have a lot of customs issues, actually. And we distribute also because we sell in pretty much every country of the world, except those who have really strong legal issues.
Like the Middle East or something?
The Middle East, but also two big markets that are the US and China.
Oh, okay.
So it makes us more a European market for Lavinia. But we do work a lot. And actually, we used to send a lot of wines around the world to the different big platforms that exist in Rio, in Hong Kong. But now the customers, they don't trust the way it's delivered. They think their wine has been carried for 40 days in a huge container at 60 degrees. So they take sometimes, when coming to Paris, we address pretty high level of customers. When visiting Paris, they stop at our stores much more than they used to do before, for quality reasons and for authenticity reasons, actually. But we work a lot with the international.
Cool. So the shipping, at the end of the day, is a very important issue. The way the product is shipped, it can be seen as an issue.
When you're a distributor, you're not producing. If you're not producing, you need to be on service. So all what we do is about service and about premium service. And I join my colleagues in the fact that it's not so much about being delivered fast. It's about the accuracy of the delivery. Because all of my customers are not saying they want to pay a cheaper price, maybe, my customers, to be delivered at some other point of the day. They want to be all delivered at the same time, that's right. But I need to guarantee absolutely that they'll be delivered on time, and much more than that, if I can let them choose the slot where they want to be delivered and all the options, it should not be a pain. It should not be a pain for them. That's the way we work.
Great.
From my perspective, it depends on brands. For sure, we do that, but we started as a retailer, a classical retailer. We started first with stores. So depending on some brands, international opportunities for us is clearly there, but we use first some stores. So with some brands, it represents the abroad. France, we make 50% of between, let's say, 15 and 50% of our business abroad. Okay. And then we are not doing right now some cross-border logistics because we use our store to do that. Because of one thing today, it's regarding our brand awareness and the textile category, it's not so obvious to be successful if you want only to say, okay, I want to expand my business in this country, and if it doesn't fit to the fashion behavior of some countries. So when we have a brand very well known in France and we want to expand it to Germany, it's totally not the same kind of products. So that's the another blocker regarding electronic goods. You have a technical product, you can sell it everywhere, depending on the power supply, but that's it. So we try to do that, and the second step to us will be to test some new countries with the online distribution and to sell it abroad and cross-border. So except the fact that we have to manage some customs issues, it will be done. So we will do that.
So you have a team speaking different languages, or how do you address that?
It depends. Okay. When we want to try to list, and it's a target to list our products in China with Alibaba, for example, or other brands, or Flipshop and like this, we'll do that, and we take a third party for the logistic, and we sell it.
So they take care of the logistic and customer care. Okay. All right. Back to you. You guys are so you're a service, and you help companies, you help users, and you're acting at the local level. What is your relationship? What are your thoughts about massive players like Amazon? What is your relationship with them? Have you ever collaborated with them? And what do you think in general of, is e-commerce becoming more and more a big player market, or there is still a lot of room for even local retailers or smaller retailers?
That's a pretty open question, huh? Well, if you ask me about Amazon and Amazon Prime, this is showing a massive trend in the industry, which is that delivery issues have moved from the operations desk to the strategic desk. More and more retailers believe that delivery is the new front store, and that they need to control that. They also understand the value that is in there. You know, unless you optimize what you're doing, this is a huge bleed. So you see pure e-com online players addressing delivery issues themselves, sometimes with their own trucks and delivery equipment. But you also see more offline players doing that. And the Carrefours, the Tesco's are also optimizing now their deliveries themselves. So the big players are there in our logistic industry, coming big. Now, how do we address them? We want to sell our technology to them. And the question is, are they going to buy or are they going to make it? For all the startups and the younger organizations, they have massive capabilities. So hopefully we believe that our algorithms are strong, and it took us 3 years to put them together. So we're still in advance. But dealing with the giants, that's the issue.
It's better to switch maybe in French, and thanks to translators, better for all. So I'll switch in French for the answer. Simplement, la relation avec les grands groupes, nous on est sur ce modèle-là parce qu'on travaille principalement à offrir le service Coliweb de livrer sous 2 heures ou sur rendez-vous à des grandes enseignes de la distribution du type Darty, Leroy Merlin, Habitat ou autres. Et c'est justement, ils voient cette opportunité de gérer une livraison le jour même pour contrer des stratégies de très grands comme Amazon, en utilisant donc leurs stores et la proximité avec leur stock. Et ils vont même au-delà. Si je prends le cas d'un Darty, par exemple, qui là vient de lancer leur Darty Plus avec une gratuité totale des services de livraison, c'est simplement pour essayer d'augmenter à la fois leur fidélisation client, la fréquence d'achat à l'année grâce à un point stratégique qui est lié sur la livraison. Et donc aujourd'hui, je pense qu'on peut plus, enfin les grandes enseignes peuvent plus se passer ou bypasser justement ce sujet du last mile, de la livraison jour même, dans leur stratégie de développement sur leur service en fait. Et donc c'est plus à des interlocuteurs même marketing qui en s'adressent que des interlocuteurs logistiques, quoi.
Okay, thank you. I think I have a very small question for you, then we can have I have a final question for everybody. So you will define your client as a luxury client in general, and what you think in a very few words, what is the growth of the luxury segment on the e-commerce? Does it still have a huge potential?
About luxury, I think that LVMH just did their best quarter ever. So I think they are going pretty well. So for sure, we address really different
of course. But like
needs in retail. I think Amazon should be. That's Jan Rogers who was saying it a few days ago. He said that when coming to commodities, Amazon is a real threat, actually. But when buying a luxury product, you want to have an experience that is not about pushing a button in your kitchen to get some new product. At Lavinia, we do believe that the experience is the main part of what we do. This is why we are turning our flagships stores much more into experience stores, and we are doing much more what I'm calling drive to store to web. So we are really trying to touch our audience online, the luxury customers, bringing them in our stores to have a taste of this experience, and then doing an onboarding online again for them to do upselling and to keep them in our databases. So we have a pretty good growth at Lavinia, and especially in wine. There are a lot of countries that are not as mature as France, so I think we have a pretty good field to work on for the next coming years.
Cheers.
Oh yes, 2 words. Now, luxury, it's had a chance to not to be in front of Alibaba or Amazon, so clearly it's a good market. I don't have this opportunity. I'm in the mass market business, so that's it. We don't have to say anymore. Luxury, you have a high volume, high margin, and you can. A customer doesn't look after, doesn't care about the price. So it's a good market, and it's a chance.
Okay. So we have time for another very quick question, or no? It's over? Because I have 7 minutes left. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, gentlemen, for this.